in all that, I still couldn't find me. And the crazy thing is, I'm on the ship, and I'll never forget. It's in the downstairs in the belly of the ship. We had our compartment we worked in, and there's a big old, I can't even explain it. These big old racks of equipment. I was behind it, and I took my Bible back there, and I began to read my Bible. And I said, "Okay, God, if I can't find, my shit, I'm ooh." Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to our second episode of, I've almost said let's talk about a podcast. A second episode of
Unscripted.
There you go.
With Clyde and Tonya. Welcome back. Make sure you like, you share, all of that great stuff as we rock out on this episode 2. Dealing with the endurance, the power of endurance. If you rocked out with this episode 1, we kind of just talked about the power of endurance in marriage. But now we're going to be talking about the power of endurance in ministry, man. We've been doing life together. If you don't know, man, 30 plus years life together, a long time. So we've learned a lot along the way. Still growing, still learning. Married 25 years with 3 beautiful girls, as well as we're sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, great aunt and uncles.
Real people with real lives.
Real people, real life, real situations.
Yeah. And listen, to kick this off, I want to always make sure we just tap into your heart, tap into your mind, to make sure you know what you're about to hear. We're focusing on the fact that a lot of people right now, especially in this day and time, they're just short term on everything. As soon as anything get tough, as soon as the marriage get tough, as soon as the job get tough, as soon as church get tough. I talked about Sunday, how church was meant to hurt, but as soon as we get church hurt, we quit.
Right.
You
felt that in your shana now.
Man, I had to calm down. That one went straight into a spiritual outrage.
Wow.
But I felt this here that, it's without growth, there's no pain. And if all the enemy got to do to stop you from growing is give you pain, we will forever stay stagnant in the kingdom.
Yes.
So this podcast is going to be always about, things we went through, our journey, our story. We're going to be always unscripted. We're going to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. And so dealing with this topic, we dealing with last time about and making sure we endured in our marriage. Mm-hmm. Marriage blend into ministry. Endurance also blended into other areas. But for this here, we have to learn to endure in ministry.
Yes.
So we want to kind of kick it off and just talk about, if I want just one more second, if you're married, if you are going to church, if you're going to church by yourself, maybe you want your husband to come with you and he's not, maybe you want your wife to go with you, but she's not. We're going to deal with all of that because our journey, we have to endure without each other.
Right.
You had to go first without me. I had to go a couple times without you.
Right.
Then we have to endure through people.
Right.
And then we have to endure through tests. So let's kick it off. Where you want to go with this in the beginning? Start off.
Before we even start off, I got to do a shout out to Devin.
Always.
He always working in the background.
He need to get a business name so he can knock out his production company.
I know, Devin Simon Production Company. We're gonna make it up for him.
Simon Productions.
Simon Production. But shout out to him and everybody that's been a part of Harden Enterprise Services. Shout out for making this happen. So I definitely always want to give a shout out to what we're doing and who's doing and who's helping us, man. Because I think one thing I found out that no matter in marriage or ministry, in life, you cannot do life by yourself. You got to have people that will help you make your dreams become reality. And so for every person that helps you make your dream become reality, you got to take our time to appreciate them, invest in them,
especially
and all
as
of
financial contributors. So
yes.
This podcast is brought to you
by
HE Services LLC.
Yes.
We respond to your needs and get the right experiences.
That
this
part.
Is the financial contributor. If you want to be a financial contributor, we will also shout you out. So all you got to do is look right here at the bottom somewhere. But HE Services LLC is sponsoring Clyde and Tonya Unscripted. And so we really are excited that, the company decided to make the investment to put our voice out there. So no joke, no lie. We are always, even though we work in Harden Enterprise, we're separate. HE decided to sponsor this podcast.
Yes, I love it.
Yep.
So here we go. Let's talk about it. The power of enduring in ministry, man.
Ministry.
I think here's the thing is that for me, when we first got married, I realized that I knew we were putting holes in the wall. We were throwing lamps. I was throwing lamps, not him. I was throwing lamps and would cuss each other out. I would never cuss you out, but you would cuss at me. I would never cuss you out because I'm not a cusser. Okay,
recording in the church.
I'm not a
She lying
cusser.
in the church, but okay.
Bishop would try, and I'll be like, "You better not cuss towards me." But I knew that I came from church. I knew God. And I found God 3 days in my room, really not in church. Even though I went to church, I really didn't find God until I was in the most deepest, darkest place of my life. And I found him in my hard place. Even in my now, I find God in my hardest places in life. And I find another level of him.
I think what happened is that when we in those hard places, before it's hard, we depending on ourselves. And when it's get hard, we literally, it's like with mom, you say, you like up the creek without a paddle. We're in a place where only thing can bring us out is God. So we got to really lean on him in that moment. That's what I think it is.
And I think for me, in our marriage, I knew immediately before the children, before anything, my husband and I, we got married in 2000. And in 2000, I knew before I got married to him, I found God. So I would even say to that single person that is trying to, you're going and hoping God will send you your Boaz and send you your Joshua and send you all these people. First of all, you got to find you. Yeah. You got to find your purpose. And I know for me, before we got back together, it was like a year of trying to identify who am I outside of the girl that smoke, outside of the girl that party, outside of the girl, when I say party, I'm talking about a club every night of the week. For those that are in the Houston area, baby, I had a place to go for Roxy's. I had a place on Sunday, Mr. A's. I had Oasis to go to one day, Chocolate Town, another day, just ghetto. I love the club, and I would club by myself. I did not need nobody to come to club with me, but I would club by myself. But I would also drink and smoke. Not drink. I wasn't a drinker, but I would smoke, and I had homeboys. And check this out, Bishop. No, but I never had to buy weed. I ain't never had to buy weed. I don't know if you can say that on YouTube, but I never had to buy weed. It was always supplied for me. Yeah. It was always because I was cool with all the dudes. But then there was a place in my life where I no longer could work. I could no longer, I got fired from my job. Wasn't doing right, going to partying all night and coming there high as Cooter Brown. So I couldn't, them folks fired me. They ended up firing me, and I did not have money to pay for my rent. Yeah. And that's a place where God found me. In this hard place, like, okay, Tonya, you got to get your life right. And then on top of that, I never forget. You,
or did you find him in that place?
I found him. And it was because also he protected me from being raped by, a gang of people, which I've experienced rape before. But it was by a boyfriend that I thought that loved me, but ended up doing. So my life started getting really, really hard on top of all the stuff that I was doing. And I was trying to cover it up with the weed so that I wouldn't have to think about what had happened to me with this guy. So that was one particular time. Then the next time when I accidentally drink Long Island iced tea. And I say that to say, wherever God finds you, you got to be willing to be able to surrender to that. And I did not, after those guys tried to take me out of the club and take me home, thank God for my homeboys that I smoked with. They ended up finding them and made sure I got home safe and stayed there with me. That's Brother Devin. That's why I like to rock out with the right people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? At that time in that season, they were my right company because they protected me, even when I was at the club.
Even though they probably went all that godly.
No, they wasn't godly at all. They wasn't at all, and we ain't even connected to this day. But I know that during that season, I needed that. Yeah. But I say that to any single person is learning to surrender. And so them 3 days in that room, I had to surrender. In my room, no food, no drink. I didn't eat for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? I had to find God for me. Yeah. And I knew when I got married and we got married that if we didn't find God, we were going to a place of hurt. We were going to be divorced.
I love how we establish this because, people always say, oh, endure with God, endure in church. But if you don't have an anchor, the reason why you endure, what you're establishing right now is your why.
Yeah.
I want you to finish because I'm just conjuring up my why. Go ahead and finish.
Yeah, I knew when I got married that when I found God on that third day and I had no money at all. And I realized and the phone wasn't working, by the way. We ain't had no cell phone. I ain't had no cell phone. I was broke. I don't think cell phones were back then at that time.
No, that's enough.
Yeah,
So
you had just moment. No, okay, never mind.
Conversation.
That was later on. So, but in that moment, I didn't have a cell phone, so I just had a phone on the side of my bed, and I picked up the phone because the phone wasn't working because I didn't pay the bill. I ain't had no money. But on that third day, all of a sudden the telephone rings. Make that make sense. I knew that was a God for my phone to ring. That may not make sense to nobody else, but when you know I done picked up this phone 3-4 times and I know this phone don't work, there's no dial tone for the millennials that don't understand what a dial tone is. It wasn't no duh on the other side. I knew that, it wasn't happening. But long story short, my grandmother called and she said, baby, you have a mail here. And I said, Mama, you can open it. And when she opened it, it was $50. I knew God hadn't forgot about me with that $50. So when we got married, I knew we got to get into ministry some type of way. We got to go. I didn't know ministry at the time. Because I really hadn't served in the church, but I knew I needed to be in somebody's church. Yeah. And so I was so busy. We would get into it and you wouldn't even want to go to church with me, but I would find somewhere. We were living in Mississippi and I would find a place to go to church. No matter what, because I knew that God needed to be the foundation of what we were building. And I knew where I was before and about to lose my mind and wanted to die and and I saw how God showed up for me. Yeah. And I wanted to be able to show up for him and allow him to build what was about to be built in our marriage.
So the thing is, she's talking, for those who just tuning in or you've been listening, she's talking about almost, we've been married for...
Don't get it wrong. Go ahead.
We've been married for
I'll wait.
15 years? No, we've been married for 25 years.
December will be 25 years of marriage.
Almost 25 years. And in 25 years, so 25, she's talking about at least 26, 27 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Come on, husband.
So she just said 27 years ago, she found out why church was no longer an option for her. Mm-hmm. Because we both was raised in church. Mm-hmm. But 27 years ago, you said, hold up. I've been through too much now.
Yes.
Not to do what I was raised to do.
Right.
And no matter who I come across throughout this journey, you're not going to knock me out of my reason why I'm going to endure in ministry.
Yeah. Come on, husband. Icing on the cake.
So, and I'm going to tell you a secret because it's a crazy thing, right? Because me and my wife, we was high school sweethearts. I graduated 1999. She graduated 1998. So she graduated before me. So we broke up when she graduated. We won't get into that story. It's another topic another time. But she had to go find her. I had to go find me. And it's ironic, right before I connected back with you, I went through my journey of losing because I made a lot of listen, I won't throw nobody out there right now. I mean, as time goes on, this discussion will get deeper and other conversations. We get to other topics, but I went through a lot of stuff as a young man coming up. I went through a lot of stuff as a young boy. And so my journey was to get out as fast as I could. Not blaming nobody. It is what it is. It was what it was. But my journey was to get out as fast as I could. And when I went out, it's like I jumped off of a building and started falling. Mm-hmm. I found God before I left home. I found God before I left and went to the Navy. But I went to this. I never forget getting this deep spot. I was out there drinking. I was running around trying to find myself in women. I was trying to find myself in bottles. Mm-hmm. I was trying to find myself in women. I was trying to find myself in weed. I was just trying to find myself because I felt like I didn't know who I was. And I never forget one day, man, I got to, I remember twice I got to this place where I just really had an identity crisis. I was married with the kids the second time. I remember on my knees praying and saying, God, who am I? Yeah. Well, I was on the ship and been out running with women, been out drinking, been out everything. I'll never forget, I was just lost. In all that, I still couldn't find me. And the crazy thing is, I'm on the ship, and I'll never forget. I was in the downstairs in the belly of the ship. We had our compartment we worked in, and there's this big old, I can't even explain it. These big old racks of equipment. I was behind it, and I took my Bible back there, and I began to read my Bible. And I said, okay, God, if I can't find, shit,
Are you tired of working for someone else's dream? Do you have an idea that you know can change the world? Here are 3 essential steps to starting your business with insights from the Lion's Den small business community. Step 1, discover your why. The most impactful businesses are born from a deep-seated passion, a personal pain point, or a mission to solve a real problem. Step 2, build a solid foundation. This is where you lay the groundwork for a business that's built to last. The Lion's Den community emphasizes the importance of understanding your numbers, having a clear vision, and focusing on a strategic approach. Step 3, connect, collaborate, and conquer. You don't have to walk this path alone. The final, powerful step is to connect with the right people, embrace collaboration, and leverage the incredible power of a supportive community. Want to learn more? Join the Lion's Den today.
Wow.
You supposed to be the crier, not me.
I love it though.
It's like, God, if I can't find myself.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so about. God, if I can't find myself in women, if I can't find myself in drinking, I've been out here trying to find myself in all this stuff. God, I gotta find myself in you.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to what I knew, and I went behind that. Tonya.
Unscripted. I love it. Yeah.
Oh man, that's the. I guess it took me way back, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I can't find myself in women, I can't find myself in all these things that I was looking for me in. God, I got to go back to what I remember, and I never get my Bible. So, okay, God, I'm beginning reading this Bible from the beginning to the end. And I lay back down, begin to read and 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 begin to pray. And on that journey, I began to find me.
Yeah.
And I never forget, I got off the ship in St. Thomas, and I called you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
And remind you, we were both going through the same
exact
time. The day that I was going through the 3 days, the time I was going through the 3 days, he was going through that on the other side of the world.
Same exact time.
Same time.
27 years ago.
Yeah.
And I called her up and I began to talk to her. I'll never forget, I was drinking, still drinking.
Yeah.
But I knew that drinking wasn't my identity no more, and I knew that I needed to connect with that woman that reminded me of who I was. And I told you, I said, man, I'm in a place to where I just want you to know I need to get my life together, and I missed you. Mm-hmm. Long story short, that's what threw us together. And at that time, we both was finding God, but trying to find.
Wait, I want to go back there because I remember when you called and you was like, hey, are you good? You need anything? Mm-hmm. And I had no money for my rent, nothing, because I hadn't worked. And I was trying to figure it out and trying to get jobs, and I couldn't. Mm-hmm. And
when you cry, Devin give you a napkin.
He was looking. He was looking.
No, I'm joking. I'm giving him a hard time.
That is funny. But I would say that then it was during the same time. It was like you made sure that I was taken care of. Yeah. And as I said on the last thing, like it blew my mind because nobody ever made sure Tonya was taken care of. But
the crazy
Tonya
thing was, man, the reason why I came out to you because, and I feel like this really happened to somebody, right? In our worst times, we reach for what was peaceful. Mm-hmm. In our worst times, right? We don't reach for people who was chaotic. We reach for people for peaceful. And so I never forget what was peaceful for me last was God. What was peaceful for me last was you. Them were the only two things that was peaceful for me. Mm-hmm. For me reaching for you and wanting to check on you was because, man, when I was with her, I had peace.
Wow.
When I was with God, I had peace. So I was coming for my peace. Yeah. And if you were peaceful, I'm peaceful.
Ooh, I was your peace.
You're my peace.
Come on here, Jesus. Come on. Yeah, but I would say, too, is that in the midst of that, I think it's necessary for any individual to find your peace first before you try to go find anybody else. Yeah. You got to find peace. I've been sharing this, and I think it was Tyja say that I got more time in front of me than I do behind me. And I would rather that time in front of me be surrounded with people that creates peace and that creates joy. And so I knew that while we were married, because we started going through chaos in the marriage, like we were two different people. Yeah. And so it was like, we got to find that peace again.
So let's make the transition, right? After we found each other, we got together, and now that's good.
Okay, what?
That's good. Because even though we found God, we was reaching out to the Bible, we found each other too. And for me, I don't know if it was for you, I said, okay, I found peace. And God wasn't, he wasn't that tangible thing I needed, right? I needed God. I needed some direction.
That's good.
I found God, found direction. But you became that tangible thing, right? So we got together, and I got with you. I'm like, okay, I'm good now, I found that peace.
Almost like it, it's almost like you get relaxed.
Yeah.
Because you found that peace. I think a lot of us, even now, in our now, it's like, man, we get relaxed, and God like, I'm not done. Let me finish. I'm still doing something. And that's going to build your character for the next. But we get comfortable in that moment. I think we did. We got comfortable. We had moved because we saw the favor of the Lord following us. Like we ended up getting a car, even though the car had smoke. Hey, it was what it was. Yeah, we got our own apartment.
So God set it all up. It's like it was all there for us. Like, okay. And we went on the scavenger hunt of life, just getting everything God left for us.
And literally picking up those things. And I would even say, man, like to a person that's like, you see God moving and his hand moving, does not mean that it's going to always be that way. It's learning that whatever you need to learn in that process, because we had to learn a lot. We had to become adults in that moment.
It's what you said, right? It's like when we first got, I hope I didn't cut you off.
Go ahead.
When we first got together, when you first get with God, you try to figure out, okay, I'm a whole God, I get peace, and then God give you something, and then you try to hold, you got to hold God with two hands, right? And then God give you something, so you set God down to pick up this. And now the thing God gave you can have it for a little while without holding him, but then you're going to lose it. So now you got to drop it to go pick up God. And the journey is really, how can you hold both? How can I hold God and hold this thing I got? Yeah. And so we had to learn that, okay, God gave me this. Thank you, God. I don't need you now. I'm going to pick up my wife. Okay, dang, God, my wife is running me crazy. I'm going to pick up God to help me with her. And okay, God, things going good for my wife. Thank you, God. I'm going to put you down, pick up. At some point, you got to realize, how can I have both? How can I have God and the career?
And you know what I love about this conversation, Devin, is that now one time have we said the four walls of the church?
No.
This is all outside of the four walls of the church. Some people I don't know. I was brought up like, man, when you do ministry, you got to be in church. No. Ministry starts at home. Yeah. It's what you do in private. It's what you build in private.
Ministry is where you meet God in your misery.
Yeah, Jesus. Say that one more time.
Ministry is where you meet God in your ministry.
Yes, sir.
Church is where you go to act out your testimony of ministry. But if you hadn't met God, it's just a fake show. So I don't care if you was driving down the road, and God hits you while you driving, and God meets you there. That's the moment that misery met God, and God can begin to heal you. So our ministry was our healing moment.
I said this the other day. I did a video and I said it's where you discover God in your darkest moment. Yeah. You discover God in your darkest moment, and that's when development starts to happen. Okay, go ahead, husband. My bad.
This is anointing,
this is good.
Because we twist ministry as what we do for others, right? We twist ministry as just what we do for others. But watch this here. Ministry is basically being ministered to. So God first ministers to us, then we minister to someone. What minister means, I fix the void. I mean, when you minister, if you got a round hole and you got a round peg, to minister to the round hole, you actually able to fit this moment in this empty spot in your life. So true ministry, enduring in ministry is enduring God filling our holes, enduring God fixing us. Then after God fix us, then we turn around with what God did for us, we do for other people.
Right.
So showing up to church is one thing, but serving in church is a place that you do once you are finished being healing. Now I begin to heal, not complete healing. The total journey of healing is for a long term.
Right.
But I endured and let God heal me.
Yeah.
And then we learn how to endure and let God help us heal other people.
And I would say even that when you start your I know for us, like it wasn't until we got in church, right? We started going to church together. I remember your first thing I never forget, because I was praying for you. You were praying for me. I remember praying for the Lord to fix you and make you right, and the Lord hit me.
I remember praying for God, please. It was the hell of our marriage that pushed us to God. I never forget, man, that woman made me so angry, Lord have mercy. And I didn't even know God like that. But I said, look at God. I never forget him on the knee. Our apartment wasn't big enough to not like each other.
Actually, we did have a big apartment. It was a townhouse, 2-bedroom.
I'm thinking about in Houston. Where you just push my.
No, I'm thinking about. I'm going to the beginning in Mississippi when I hid in the bushes
that was
from
big
you.
Apartment,
Yeah, I hid in the bushes from you. This man grabbed me.
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, today.
Okay, keep going.
Because he had an anger issue problem. Babe, don't act like you wasn't in anger issues.
I did have anger.
Yeah, you went to anger management.
I did.
In the military.
I did.
And you had anger issues. That's why we had all them holes in that wall. You would never hit me.
I never hit you.
But you
I wanted to, though.
I know you wanted to, because you hit them walls. It was even in that moment of trying to identify who we were as a marriage, as a couple, versus individual, right?
And watch this, people let that, I don't want to cut you off, I'm sorry, but people let those arguments that they have with their spouse run them away from each other. It ran us to God.
Yeah. I would say even, I remember the moment of us we started going to church. And I remember you got in them folks in that dang on church, that Baptist church.
Yeah.
And nothing against Baptist people, don't come for me. But we was at an old school.
No,
when Baptist. I say old school, Brother Devin, you could smell the oldness. When you walked in the building, it was so, boy, it had that old timing. But it was a huge church.
Yeah.
And this person got up singing, and I kept praying. No.
In this old building.
They got up singing, and I kept praying for God to fill you with the Holy Ghost. I'm like, God.
That was your reason why I did that.
I kept praying that God will fill you, because you didn't believe in speaking in tongues.
I didn't believe in nothing.
You didn't believe in light when it came to
I was
God.
A real Baptist boy.
Brother Devin, I would be in the closet praying. This fool would open the door. Like, okay, it don't take, like, what are you doing?
All that faking and shaking.
Like, all that faking and shaking, that's just too much. You need to pray. I'm like, this dude is rude and mean. As I don't know what, and you spoke your mind too much, and you still do.
I was some folks shouting, and they had their eyes wide open and running to folks.
I would take him to churches that shouted, and oh man, he'd be like, how they gonna shout and their eyes wide open? He was so judgmental. But I remember praying that God would fill you with the Holy Ghost, and God would, give you the utterance of prayer, right? And I remember walking in a room, and you were praying, and I was like, okay, Lord, you're doing it. But God was having me pray for me. Not really pray for you, because my prayers was like, fix him, when God was like, no, I'm fixing you. And I noticed God fixing me. And as he was fixing me, he was working on you.
He did the same thing for me too. I never forget, sometimes I say, God, this is the prayer I used to pray. I never forget it. I just got so frustrated. And I say, God, if I'm the problem, Lord, show me. But God, if she's the problem, show her. And I began moments, and God would show me where I was being controlling. I began to show me when I was being this, and God worked on me. And I think that's what made our marriage survivable, is that we were submissive even to God correcting us. We wasn't just all in like, God, if you don't change, I'm leaving.
I think we were convicted, so that made us convert.
Yeah.
Because that's what I mean by surrendering, right?
Yeah.
You gotta literally be willing to surrender enough. And I think we were willing to grow. And I'm one of them, I'm scared to go to hell. Like I did not want to go to hell. But this what happened. I want to get to this point, is that when I started seeing God changing us, and Bishop walked in that church, and them folks started singing, there's a leak in this old building now, and my soul has got. This man jumped up, hallelujah. He started running over. Them folks wanted to put us out. I'm like, Lord, what is going on?
And not the worst, this is our first time there. We guessed.
And they gave these folks $500.
No.
We can find that one.
That was the time we saw the guy with the $100 bill in his hand. I said, one day we're going to be able to give $100 bills to the church.
You did.
Why I want to give $100 bill in church?
I do not know. But we was like, we going to give $100 one day. That's what it was. We saw a guy give but we gave like 20. That was our first time giving $20. It was like, thank you, Lord. We can give $20. We was stingy. But I paid tithes. You didn't.
Yeah.
I would pay tithes, but he would. I knew the power of tithes, and I knew that God would cover.
Where did you pay tithes at?
Wherever I could. If I went into a church, I would sneak and pay it. But here's the thing, though. That day when you did that and the Spirit of the Lord hit you and you came home and you said, babe, I don't know why, but I got an understanding. Remember that?
Yeah. No, man, I never forget it, man. It's like God started working on me, and it was a journey, right? And it was a full journey because I was angry. I had a lot of hurt in me.
A lot of anger.
And the crazy part is, I had a lot of hurt, but I didn't blame nobody.
No, you didn't.
I didn't. You think I would blame because I had a lot of people to blame.
Yeah.
But I was just hurt. I was angry. I would drink and I would.
And you had to let me pause and stop. Every person, if you are in a place of hurt and anger, you have a reason to be.
Yeah.
You got to dig deeper. And that's why I salute my husband that even now that you're in counseling, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
That you need therapy in Jesus.
Yeah.
And I wish then we would have known that. We wouldn't, we was too young to even think about. I don't think I even knew about therapy like that. But I did see God transforming you right before my eyes. Yeah. And giving you the different things that you were saying.
So I don't forget, it took about 6 months. It was 3 months. No, 6 and 6. It was like all of a sudden I came home that day. It's like God literally filled me with the Holy Ghost today. I think back on it now. I'm like, dang, that God did fill me with the Holy Ghost. Because all of a sudden I had understanding. Man, I told my wife, I said, man, I feel like I understand things I never understood before, things that made me angry before. I looked at people and I understood, oh, that's why they done it. And I gave them grace. I got peace.
Peace.
Yeah. I had peace. Peace was first. I had peace for 6 months. I had peace. Everything okay. Everything is great. And then 6 months later, God gave me understanding. I began to understand people. I'm like, I would see people and things that used to make me mad at the store or people cut me off. It's like I understood them. God gave me grace for them. And then the last season, right when we moved home, God gave me to trust Him. Say, trust in the Lord and do their part. And I began to trust Him. That's when I started paying tithes. But God worked on me. Literally, He came into my life.
It was a process.
And He worked on me. It took 1.5 years. And that actually led to my first sermon.
Yeah.
The first sermon was Steps of a Righteous Man.
Yeah.
You got to get peace. Then you got to get understanding. And then you got to trust in God. And Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but all the ways acknowledge Him. He'll direct your path.
Would have never thought you would be a minister. Never.
Not at all.
I was like, there's no.
Take your business, your purpose, and your mindset to the next level. It's time to rise with the Butterfly Academy program at the 2026 BAM Next Level Success Program. At BAM, we don't just talk about success, we build it. Through proven strategies, mentorship, and a community of powerful, purpose-driven achievers, we help you unlock your potential and turn your vision into reality. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leader, or go-getter ready for growth, this is your moment. Join the movement. Level up your business. Level up in your nonprofit. Level up in your purpose ministry. Step into your next chapter of success. BAM Next Level Success. Because your breakthrough starts now.
I was like, there's no. I want to say this though. Back in Mississippi, I remember when we started changing, God started sending people around us.
Yeah. We had to be.
We started changing, and God started sending people with other people that was in the military. They would show up at our house for Thanksgiving. They would come for Christmas. Because they had nowhere else to go. So we were the house that the couples would come to. God was even building our character in front of them. Remember, I tried to fight that dude in the whole house. But it was like in that midst, God was trying to train us. Come here, glory. He was training us for where we are now. Had no idea. But we would sit there. We'll have game night and we'll have couples night and we'll have different things. But in the midst of that, they started coming to church with us. Yeah. Whatever church we went to, Devin, they came with us. We didn't even realize we were being the light and the salt of the earth. But God, as God changed us, we changed other people. And that's the power of ministry. Listen, is that being willing to endure so that you can change, so that others can change along with you.
And listen, who is this for so far, right? We it's unscripted because we didn't come in here with no game plan, right? We knew in our heart we wanted to hit up the endurance in ministry. But who is this for? For that person who's like, man, I feel like giving up. I feel like quitting. I feel like throwing in the towel. I feel like that as soon as I get up, I'm back down. So I'm back up, I'm back down. It's like, oh, my husband up and then he's down. But don't quit, man.
That's it.
We look back on this journey, and no matter what, crazy thing is, I don't remember what anybody said about me in my journey. I don't remember. I just remember the change. I remember the growth.
I remember what them jokers said.
I don't remember.
I don't care.
My point is that
I remember. Let me tell you though. The reason why I say I remember because it fuels me.
Yeah.
I'm the type of chick, like, you come again, oh man, I'm not that I gotta prove nothing, but at the end of the day, I know the favor that sits on our life. I know that I love people unconditionally. I know that I'm the chick that's gonna rock out with you until the wheels fall off, until you cross me wrong. I remember what you said, but I don't hold on to it.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
I guess
I
what-
remember because just in case I get in your presence, come here, what that girl say? I get in rooms where I know I've been talked about, but then you turn around and you ask me for advice in this room, or you turn around and you want to know what I do, how I do in this room, because I'm a game changer. I'm a risk taker. And when you're that type of person, you gonna be talked about. Period.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that, you know, what they say don't matter. It didn't stop the growth.
Yeah, that part.
It didn't
That part.
change anything. And so as we go through now, look back on it, right? You know, I'm like, man, who knew years ago, 27 years ago, laying behind, you know, that big
Bunker.
console.
Yeah.
You know, and the console had about this much space, probably like 2 feet, and I'm laying back there trying to find God. Who knew laying behind that console, a drinker, a womanizer, you know, on drugs, you know, lost. Who knew that boy laying there at maybe 20 years old,
19, 20 years.
19, 20 years old, would turn into this man at 45 years old. No matter what nobody said about me, no matter what somebody did to me, it never killed me. It only made me better. Who knew that girl? And that phone call that day that met you where you was at your brokest point, we hung in there. I guess what I'm trying to say is worth it.
It is. The power of enduring in ministry is so many layers and so many levels, because even that's just the beginning of ministry for us. It's even when you became a minister. That was new. That was, I'm like, bruh, who told you to go and be a minister? Because I'm not a minister wife material. Like, that ain't what I do. I'm the one in the church. The stuff I would do get us kicked out.
Yeah,
And I don't want to be up here kicked out of church.
I get us kicked out of basketball games. She get us kicked out of churches.
That part, that I would get us kicked out of churches, because I'm like, Lord, because I hate it when people would play with me with being a Christian. And because people be thinking Christians out here, they be thinking we punks out here in these streets, and they be playing with us in our faces. And that used to do something to me, but I had to learn that was God building my character. I don't know if you remember when you became a minister, it was like all these wolves came out in sheep clothing. And it was like, dude, I know he's attractive, but stop playing in my face.
Yeah, you're right.
As if, and it wasn't nothing to do with jealousy. It was married women.
The devil know how to try to pull you back out of your journey.
Yes, especially when you get in ministry. He knows how to pull you back and try to allow what those triggers are that will cause you to act out in the streets.
So we've kind of separated ministering from being ministered to. So when you start ministering to others, the devil don't want you. He already mad enough because you changed.
Right.
But now he's
You
mad because
changing
now you're
other
trying to change
people.
other folks.
Right.
And that's when the attack begins.
Right.
You know, maybe that's the next one you talk about, because I think it's so important. I don't know, do we talk about that now?
Yeah.
Because I think
that's that part of ministry.
so when we started going to church, you know, God, listen, watch this here. This is why it's so important. The Bible talks about, I think it's in Timothy or somewhere. It talks about, you know, don't put a early convert in the pulpit and start preaching. If you get, just because you got saved and you were drinking yesterday and you delivered today, you shouldn't probably preach tomorrow.
No.
Because God is still working on you and incubating you and healing you to prepare you to be able to go out there and be vulnerable. Because as soon as you start being a minister or a person who's in the praise team, a person who's a prayer warrior, the dogs get released.
Baby, they come out.
Yeah.
Who let the dogs out? They come
And
after you, and you literally, but it's a part of
guess
being
what?
built, though.
they look like church folk.
Yes, they do. They look,
the
baby,
dogs don't look like the
not
club.
only do they look like church folks, they sing like church folks, they
Man,
talk like
they
church
pray
folks,
like-
they pray like they speak in
preach.
tongues, and they shout like church folks. And I think that's what threw me off.
Yeah.
That's when, Brother Dem, I never forget being in this, our first church. We decided as a family, this is going to be our church home. We're going to go here.
Ooh, you know why, though?
Why?
Ooh.
Wait, Bishop, Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Why?
Reason why they come at you so hard, because think about it. You come in authentically moving what they've been doing fake, and you mess up their game because everybody respect authenticity. So you come in really healing. You come in really changing. They've been faking it, trying to make a move and impress everybody. You come in messing up their game.
That
you
is
see
so
Devin
true.
shaking his head.
Devin like, yup.
You come in there.
That is so
and,
true.
And that's why the real authentic folks usually get around the church, because the dogs who've been in there just preying on folks and been just there, trying to fake it and shake it. You come in there, the pastor like you, and the, ooh.
Come on, Bishop.
Y'all know how many times I seen my wife. That's why my wife had to fight folks, because she was authentic. And most of the women that was in the church, you know who I'm talking about, was trying to get the pastor's attention because they were singing and shaking and everything. My wife coming in, she just opened her mouth that's anointed, and the whole church attention go to her. Oh man, now the dogs are mad at her because she really getting the church moving. And before, there was the person, whoever it is, you authentic. You're not there trying to be seen. They was trying to be seen. And so what you got to understand now, the endurance to the next level got to kick in, because now if you don't watch out, they will push you off your journey.
Yes, and they will push you away from church. I remember going to church and God telling me, you bet not say nothing. You better put a muzzle on your mouth. You cannot fight back like you used to in the streets. You cannot do what you used to do. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why I couldn't tell them off. And I don't do a tell off in the right way. Okay, let me explain. When we were in Mississippi, this one woman on my job she ran me hot. And she kept tugging at me because the ladies at the job liked me, and I was the youngest one there. I'm 20, and they like in their 50s. Like, but I'm rocking out with the 50-year-olds, and they're training me, helping me with my marriage, and want to spend time with me because I'm a student. I'm willing to listen to what you got to say because I'm young at this marriage, and I want my marriage to be right. You understand what I'm saying? And not that nobody's perfect, but I'm like, I am messing up, and my husband is about to walk away from me because I don't know how to talk to him and allow him to be a man. Yeah. I'm talking to him like I was raped. I'm ashamed to say that. But anyway, but I realized that in that moment of me flipping over the table, cops coming, and it ain't nothing to even joke about because I was scared out of my mind. Why am I always hiding in bushes? I hid in the bushes from the cops because this woman called the cops on me. People don't be playing out here in the street. You can't just go after folks and then they don't call the cops on you. I understand now because you come after me, I'm calling the cops. I'm not gonna hit you because I'm not finna mess up my knuckles. I'm not finna mess up I'm just gonna call the cops. And that's what that woman did to me. And I couldn't do that in church. She called a popo. I couldn't do that in church. No. And God wouldn't allow me to. Can I say something? He had to put a muzzle. Wait, I want to say this to that one. You body, I don't care what you better stop. Yeah. Because when you are in ministry, God has to build you and give you resilience to keep your mouth shut. Every fight is not your fight. And that's what I had to learn in ministry. Every fight, I don't have to defend myself every time. No. If you don't know me, you don't know. I got to leave that as be and not allow myself to fight when it ain't my battle to fight.
And listen, I'll forget. So I was thinking as you were talking, like, okay.
Excuse me.
That's okay. I was asking, when did I go through? I'm like, did people try me in church? And
yes, they did.
And I thought about it, right? I always got tried when it was time to move.
You.
Excuse me. Because I remember the preacher, remember the youth program?
I remember. I went straight there. My whole mind went right there.
Remember me preaching in front of the church and the pastors, preacher coming to me and everything? Uh-huh. And I was like, while you was talking, I'm like, God, why would they do that? The God says, because you had to be willing to stand while your wife is going through and not let her move. Yeah. Until I sent you. Because my wife, watch this here. It's because it's about endurance, right? Let's deal with it all the way. Mm-hmm. In our first church at Ebenezer Worship Center.
Oh my God, he said the name.
I did. I told you. You were part of my testimony.
Okay.
I didn't say the people's name. I said the church name.
Okay.
Ebenezer Worship Center. I'll never forget what we
I don't even think it's that no more, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it is. While we were there, my wife was going through. And I was just starting to become a preacher. I was just starting my ministry. I was just starting a lot of things. And she over here going through this caddy stuff with these women in the praise team.
And wait, I want to say this. Remind you, because, they'll be like, why is your wife always... No, them jokers were picking on me. I wasn't even saying nothing.
That's what I'm saying just now. Because
I'm not saying nothing to Devin. I ain't saying none of these chicks. I'm minding my business. I got a little baby. I'm just trying to be me.
Women, I'm sorry to tell you, you are the most targeted in church. Because women literally want to be seen. And when your anointing is authentic and other folks see you because of your authenticity, it angers the enemy in them.
Yeah.
I look back
this woman had a whole meeting about a group that I didn't even start.
Yep.
And the group was started by the pastor called Jabez. I didn't start the group.
No, it was a lot of stuff there. But let me say this: so you cut
Okay,
me.
my bad.
So I never forget when we was there, and I want to make sure I said it because so many men. I never forget I used to teach to other brothers and tell them, man, one thing about it: women are emotional; they up and down, and so many men is going up and down with their wife. If you look at a sine wave, there's a static line and there's a wave line. Men, you got to be that static line. And so as we had to endure, even though my wife was in church before me, I couldn't let my wife talk me out of church. She was done. She's seen enough.
Yeah, I was
she went
pregnant
through up
with
and
Lorna
down.
by that time.
She left. I had to hang in there. And it wasn't until I got attacked, God told me, okay, now it's time to leave. Why? Because sometimes you got to endure, even though your spouse is going through, you got to hang in there with her. It can't always be the run.
And you know, I respected you for that, for not moving just because I was done with the church. Even with what the things that God was showing me and other women and all that, it wasn't. You moved at what God. You were the man.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a man and not
wasn't easy.
being the man that whatever you like, wife.
Yeah.
But you were a man, and I respected that, which made me keep showing up to the church. But I realized I had to follow my husband. Yeah. I couldn't make another move without my husband. But when you are right, every time we had to transition, it was because they were coming after you.
Yeah. And I think God, he would then allow me to disengage.
Yeah, and I believe, and let's skip. So now we become a minister. We go to another church, and at that church, we learn, we grow. Lord, I go, whole nother story. But I will say in that, because of my endurance to stay, even though I left after I had Madison, I didn't come back. You know, you was out, 6 weeks when you have a baby? Well, I decided I'm going to just stay out a little bit longer. I ain't going to go back to church because I can't deal with them people in church. So I had my moment. But even in that moment, in ministry, for me, it started at home because I realized that I needed church. Yeah. I needed what was coming out of my bishop's mouth, my pastor mouth, Bishop L.J. Woodard. Shout out to them. Lady Woodard, shout out to them. When we joined that church and God told us to transition, great book, shameless plug, Church Hope Brother Helped. I write in the journey of what we went through in that. Yeah. But in that midst of it, going through that, you're still a minister. You're a youth pastor now. Mm-hmm. You was a youth pastor when we left the last church, but you became a youth pastor now. And while you're a youth pastor, I no longer wanted the position
so much
of
we jumped over, but yeah.
Oh, so much. Go ahead.
Well, I want to say this: it's so much jumped over because we had to, and we once we found our calling, everything was always bigger than what we was going through.
Right. True.
So me being a youth pastor was bigger than what people put me through. You being in the worship team was bigger than what people put you through. Mm-hmm. God put you there for two reasons. Number one, to grow you by what you go through. Mm-hmm. So he put you there for what you was going to go through. And also he put you there because it's going to grow you in what you was doing. And if you're going to really become anointed, it has to come after a breaking. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, definitely it has to come out after a breaking. I think even with us becoming minister, when you became the youth pastor at CRM, it was bigger than us. Yeah. We didn't think, I ain't think nothing of it.
Got attacked over there.
Yeah, got attacked. Me too, but it was like, it was bigger than us.
Yeah, always.
It was never about what was going on in the church. I always say this when it comes to ministry and finding a church home, you got to do your research. Yeah. I would tell anybody that for us as pastors, as minister, when we left that church, and we didn't do the research when we first joined that church. We just joined it because we was excited about joining a church. But when we did the second church, we did the research. Yeah. We made sure we moved slow. We didn't move fast. We did the research. And so when we did the research, we were in the right place, regardless if it hurt. Yeah. We were in the right place. And
you're not gonna be able to avoid pain.
Right.
You're not gonna be able to avoid pain. You gotta understand. You gotta define pain. You gotta define. Okay, God, why am I going through this? So if I could just want to wrap this up, I would just say, we started our journey many years ago, and that was our why. No matter who came against us, who attacked us, we knew why we had to get up out that hole we were in. Mm-hmm. And as we got out that hole, God led us to church. Mm-hmm. If God led us to church, no matter who's in this church, that's our why. And now we in church, everything we go through in church, it didn't break us. It made us stronger, and it pushed us along the way. So, we have to learn to, while we going through anything with God, if you're not willing to endure, you'll never get to where God's trying to take you and become what God's trying to make you.
And I would say for us, it was becoming when you became a pastor. That was like, what is going on? And one day we'll share that entire journey.
Mm-hmm.
But you becoming the pastor of the church was not in our plans. I know it wasn't in mine. It wasn't in mine at all. But when I look at it now, and now that you are prelate bishop, meaning that he's a pastor over other pastors.
Everything makes sense.
Everything makes sense while we went through. So the power of enduring when it comes to ministry is a learning that it ain't about you.
At all.
It is never about you, but it is about your growth.
About your growth and development.
And every time
about
God...
your growth and development for people in the kingdom.
Yes. And every time you are in a place of darkness, remember, it's only to develop.
That's it.
It's only to make you better. And it builds, as I talked last night in Bible study, it builds your determination. Because you can have all the faith in the world, but if you don't have determination to get up, you will never allow yourself to be carried into the next thing that God has for you. Yeah. Because there's always a next. If you are breathing, if you're living and you have your limbs, you have a next. And it's just figuring out what that next is to be developed into that.
That's it.
So ministry for us is not just 4 walls of the church. No. It's bigger than that. This is ministry for us. Ministry for us is not just, finances. Ministry for us is our children. Yeah. Ministry for us is our family, our finances, everything. Yeah. That's ministry for us.
I think ministry for me is converting my test that I passed into a story that can help somebody else.
Okay, well, since we're going there, I'll tell mine. My ministry for me is being able to create a space that would allow others to see that transition is real. Yeah. And transformation is necessary. Yeah. Yeah. And it has to happen. Yeah. That's me.
The reason I say a test I passed because I can't talk about the ones I failed yet because they haven't become the glory to the story. Mm-mm. But once I get the story all the way together, I can tell the whole journey from the failure to the success of it. So, listen, we thank y'all so much for listening to us on this second podcast, the second journey. Listen, more of this, more to come. This is our trash can. We're going to let it all out at our cost. We hope you win.
I want to have last words, though, to encourage that person that's out there. I do last words, then you. No, you do, and then I do.
Okay. I'll say my last words is to anybody out there who's in their journey. Use this story to say, hey, if they didn't quit and look what God has done for them, what can God do for me? Don't let everything that you've been through go to waste because you know what? It's too much. I can't go through this. I give up. I'm going back. I think about the song, I come too far from where I started from to go back now. So
I just can't give up now.
I wish I could sing.
Come too far from where I started from.
Nobody told me.
Nobody told me that the road would be easy. But and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. If you remember that, man, your life can change. That no matter what you go through, no matter what you've experienced, allow the endurance to push you to your next level because he's building resilience within you. Don't give up. Don't quit. Keep walking. Why? Because you are a product of God's grace and mercy. When you see yourself through God's eyes and not people, stay blessed, man.
Stay blessed.
Bye-bye.